evening, everyone, and happy Election Day. I want to take a moment, as everyone else will this evening, to thank my family and my friends and my supporters. I really appreciate you all turning out. I also want to take note that this year, over 24 people put their names in to run for municipal office, which is huge, and it is hard to do. Of the 24, 11 of them were women. Yes. And next year, for the first time, we will have a majority of women who are representing the city of Bloomington in elected office. LGBTQ+ people run for office this year.
In 1971, a bunch of Democrats got together and decided we had enough with a solid Republican city because we weren't solid Republican. And we went door to door, and very unlikely everybody was sure we'd go down in flames. We started a government that was aimed at becoming a democracy, a participatory democracy, in which everybody would be encouraged and included in the decision making as well as an understanding what was going on. It was really, it was a revolution in Bloomington. And today I'm happy to say a new era is upon us. We're going back to that, where we have a candidate, where we have an elected mayor who understands that working with people is essential. When you're a public servant, you are a servant, and you're to the public, you're not your own servant. And that's really important. And it's what we have to say, is applaud across the country. So this is a significant election in Bloomington. We're going back to participatory democracy, I believe, because we have a candidate who has understood that understanding the people of the community is an important part of the job. The important part of the job.
You have told me time and again, you will choose hope and you will work with me, and I am counting on you. Bloomington is a city ready to commit to our next chapter, ready to look to what light we can create together tomorrow. We look forward to becoming the Bloomington we've imagined together. We will be a place that welcomes all and ensures their safety. We will be the place with an incredible research university, renowned restaurants, and extraordinary musicians. We will be the place with a thriving business community and with smart, passionate neighbors who work together to solve the challenges we face. We will be the place where housing affordability is not a bullet point or a slogan, but it is an actual working set of policies and programs. We will be the place where we all operate at the very top of our human potential. The place that believes, as I do, that homelessness is solvable, and where people do not die alone on our streets. Together, we will be the place where we listen first and welcome all to the table with a responsive and open government that's easy to work with.
On January 1st with new ideas, new energy, and new perspectives on the issues that concern all of us as Democrats. I think that it's a great opportunity also to look again at our systems, how we run our meetings, to make sure that we are reaching out to people who are not in this room, who we don't usually hear from. And to that end, I've already started doing some door-to-door just to get people's opinions on things. And I plan to continue doing that. And of course, since my first term, I've been doing constituent meetings every month, and I'll continue that as well. So, like Carrie said, we need to include everybody. That means we need to be flexible. We need to go where people are and not expect them to come to us. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that and working also with my county colleagues, several of them I see here, collaboratively on some of the tough issues that our community, like many around the country, are facing. High housing prices, homelessness, mental health challenges, substance misuse. These are the things that are really tough to crack, but I'm excited that we have new minds who are going to be working on them, and we will be collaborating to solve those problems in our community.
So in this last term, I held monthly constituent meetings, and in this next term, what I'm going to be doing is going to door in my district to try to talk to everyone, especially those who so often can't or won't and don't show up. So I'm very excited for that. Looking forward to knocking on somewhere around 8,000 doors and talking to people, registered voters or not. So something that I'm also just really excited about, working on our transportation infrastructure here in Bloomington. I think in this first term of mine, we've done a lot of awesome things, like the 7 line that put Bloomington on the map as like one of the coolest bike paths in the country right now. And we're really working on housing all of our residents, especially our unhoused residents, and then people who are not our residents but want to live here and can't afford it right now. And then really just taking everything through an equity lens, which we have tried to do in the past, but I think with the new council coming in, that will be a really serious filter that we look at, like who has helped, who has harmed in these situations, because every decision we are making is affecting and impacting everyone in some way. And I am looking forward to working with a new set of eyes on our policies and really making this place more equitable and climate friendly for everyone.
And I also want to thank all of those people who didn't vote for me and say, I hope that you engage with me. And I have gotten some emails from people who I know are not voting for me, and I've had very nice conversations at doors with people who I know are not voting for me. And I really want to continue engaging both with people who support me and my ideas, but also people who question them and who have other ideas, because I think that all the voices do matter, even the voices of dissent, and we need to consider all of the voices, not just a few that we happen to like. And then I do want to give a shout out to Brett Heinisch, who is the only Republican who filed to run in this municipal race. And as we already discussed, it takes something to put yourself out there in that way. It is a risk, it's a little scary, it's a real thing. And to be the only person, and I'm sure that there are some of you right now who have done things when you are the only person doing them, and it is intimidating, and it is not easy, and he deserves some credit, and he was out there standing at University Elementary School.
Woo! I'm the first Gen Z elected to City Council.
Come on.
So excited to make my people proud. And so before I leave the stage, I would like to thank Charlotte Zitlow, who was the first of the firsts for women, who has made it possible for the city council to be majority female, for there to be a female mayor at the same time. So if we could, I know we've clapped for her already, but if we could do an extra big round of applause. Serve the city as well as she did.
So I'm anxious, really anxious to get to work, maybe go back and visit some of the things that we passed in my 20 years on council, starting 24 years ago. Isabel already has contacted me and said, Andy, we got to work on the responsible bidder ordinance. It's already out of date. There's references in there that aren't even relevant anymore. And I'm like, Isabel, okay. It's still October. That was so long back. Anyway, so we're looking really forward to getting served 6 new, I served for 20 years, but there's going to be 6 council members that I've never served with. And so it's going to be great. And new administration, it's going to be a time with so much potential. And we need the community, though, to come together and work as a partnership, as a team with representatives, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Representing the community. So it's super, super important to, right out of the starting gate, really sort of revitalize that partnership with citizens in the community groups and organizations. And we will have a great next 4 years.
We also are living in a city where 47% of households fall below the ALICE threshold. But even when you account for students, we're still well below the state levels of poverty. This in the city that is the most expensive to live.
Yes.
We're still living in a city where sometimes it can take a year, I'm sorry, where sometimes it can take a year. So you're going, nobody will be able to see, Steve. This is the shortest we've ever seen you. I'm sorry. Just Steve Olin, everybody. We're living in a city where sometimes it takes more than a year to get access to healthcare services, while an opioid crisis that is affecting the nation is playing out in our city, where our continuum of care is stretched, where these are all addressable issues. We're also living in a city, though, one of the most diverse in Indiana, where black and brown folks and other, I would just say genuinely, if you're not a white cisgender male, you may not always feel like a full member of this community. You don't have to say right, I'm speaking my own truth.
That's right.
It's the truth. And so we have work to do.
Yes.
And we are excited to do that work. We all ran knowing all of these things. And yet, we remain today undeterred. We remain today absolutely unshaken in our hopes and our beliefs for the future that this city holds. I thank every single one of you for standing together with us in this hope, for joining this journey, and for choosing to be the change that we want to see in our world. Together, let's ascend towards our collective aspirations.